It is the first. Ooh, it's the 1st of May. You know what that means? It is 22 days till my birthday. I love that shit.
It's the
Now,
first of the month.
dunna, dunna, dunna. I can't sing that fucking song. Dunna, dunna, dunna. I have to ask you about the restaurants. Boop, beep, boop. Okay, so right. We have been watching videos about themed restaurants, but we never really come
Mm-hmm.
to our thoughts about what we think about themed restaurants. So now you go. Tell me your answer.
I think they're cool. I wish, we had a bit more theme restaurants. Like,
My favorite is the Rainforest Cafe, especially with how it was. The one in San Fran was so very vibrant. It was three floors up, and it had like interesting layouts within each floor. Especially like when the first floor, if you wanted to go upstairs, you have to go through like a cave and shit. And that did terrify me a lot as a little kid. Actually, I wasn't even able to like get up to the second floor until like I was like what 9, I guess, because ever since like I mean, I guess just it doesn't mean like ever since. Just like as a kid, I've always been afraid of the dark until I just like had to like deal with that fear like throughout the course of like those years around like yeah in those 9 years, or at least well even if I say 9 years, I still was afraid of the dark until like I grew out of it by middle school. Yeah, like as 12 years old. Yeah, that's the fair way to say it. Because 11, I was still like, when you're 11, you still feel like you're a fifth grader anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then there's just like when you're 12, you really do get so settled into like the grade you're in, or at least the school you're in.
mm-hmm.
So fear of dark amplified by just fear of glowing eyes. That was a big one. I used to have like a fear of owls because I believed as a little kid that their eyes would glow in the dark, and I hated the idea of glowing in the dark eye shits. I mean, realistically, you could still scare me if you like put me in a dark forest and there's like some glowing eyes in the distance. Because A, that's impossible. Eyes don't glow in the dark. They only get reflected by light. And that stuff is chilling on some animals like alligators or polar bears, because if you flash lights, or at least if some bit of light is reflected on those animals, you just get to see some fucking terrifying shit. But that's enough about that idea of like light reflection. The thing with like the cave stairs is just what really got me, since it had two of my worst fears into one whole place. But other than that, it was a cool place. I mean, it was a cool like staircase. You've seen the stairs, haven't you?
Yeah.
You know how like each eye just disappears and then there comes a new ones in like whichever part of the room.
Mm-hmm.
That was really interesting that you just had much more life to the smallest details. It was like an amusement park in a way, but it was really just a restaurant. But even then, there was like stuff to interact with, like the talking tree in like one of the corners of the room, and the animatronic animals that replicate on how the animals should act like, except for that one gorilla in the center stage, because that one just acts funny. At least I think it's synced, right? Or at least that's a false memory. I don't remember, because that place is not there anymore, right?
Yeah.
They shut it down because I'm pretty sure it happened during the COVID pandemic, but also like a lot of themed restaurants just fade out of popularity, and just that's why I asked you the question, what you really think about themed restaurants. Because yeah, they are cool, but did you like their service? Was the food even like worth it for the prices that they usually charge you with?
It's difficult because it's like, you still want to keep that theme of a restaurant, but like for example, like the one that we went to, the Krusty Burger in Universal that one time.
Yeah, because it was a really good place and really good food. I think the difference with that though is that it being in an amusement park has to have really good quality control, because you wouldn't have a good amusement park if your food tasted like shit, which is kind of like something that gets slipped through the cracks anyway. Because if I remember in Disneyland, there were some pretty good restaurants, but then there are some restaurants that just did taste like shit.
Yep.
So it's like you can't win everything, but Universal was the most consistent one because each restaurant was really fucking good, except for that one Chicken Shack in the Simpsons Land place. Holy fuck. I mean, you never tried it yet because I warned you so badly about it. Like, just never try it. That shit is so ass. It's like if the chicken was like made out of gravy, but if the gravy wasn't actually tasty, it just tasted like the cement from that weird episode of SpongeBob where it was like it was a SpongeBob episode, like a new one, like, you know, the one where when Mr. Krabs sells out his restaurant to like a businessman, corporate industry, and they just they fucking replace everything and all that shit with a bunch of cement blocks and fast food ass. No, I'm not sorry. It's not fast food. It's fucking themed restaurant. That's actually kind of ironic that we're really just going into circles now because, that episode was about themed restaurants, ironically, because they made it into like a sports-like restaurant.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's kind of reflecting to real life because I think that's what the whole joke was, where they were making fun of themed restaurants for just having their food taste like ash, while the theming was more like just what caters to the family friendliness of the fun. But it's what the fun distracts the people from actually eating the stuff, because like nobody knew they were eating cement burgers until I think SpongeBob or Mr. Krabs pointed it out. And it's just kind of like how some theme restaurants are kind of like that. Well, at least the ones I've been to, I guess they weren't all that bad. I mean, Rainforest Cafe was pretty awesome, and I guess ESPN Zone is also pretty cool. And there's also, oh wow, I was about to say Chuck E. Cheese, but I guess you can't call those. Those are pizzerias. They're a different breed. And those get their own controversies because we know how everybody bitches about their pizzas or whatever when it's probably not even that bad, because I don't remember them tasting that bad. I may have the memories. I may be relying on memories of a little kid, but that little kid did not bitch about fucking pizza and Chuck E. Cheese. He was mostly eating the fucking popsicles from the popsicle crane machine, but you get the joke. It's just like pizzerias don't have a way to miss. At least they shouldn't. Except for their salads. I guess those were kind of dry shit. But whatever. It's just the theme restaurants are what's really complicated because there used to have been so many of them all over the country, especially in LA. Because when you mention the amusement parks and Universal Studios with their interesting theme restaurants, or at least their original restaurants, because it's tied down to their IP that they own. It's just, I love that shit. Next time we go there, we gotta try the Jurassic place, because that shit's fucking awesome. They got really good ass turkey legs. Well, the turkey legs are also something you can't really fuck up anyway, but yeah.
But like, you know, I kind of do like, you know, I kind of do wish there were, you know, out of town, you know, like outside of amusement parks, I wish they could be a little better.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess if they were to like make it into like a chain of a specific IP, then it would have to be, then the quality would be affected pretty significantly, yeah.
Yep.
And then there's just what survived, what are the leftovers. The Hard Rock Cafe, and I guess technically Rainforest Cafes are still around in the country, at least not that many. And then there's a Cheesecake Factory, which I've yet to actually go there. I mean, you did tell me you were going to invite me to one time. We just haven't got the chance to really do it yet.
We never got the chance.
I was going to tell you to bring me to the Italian place, but I love that Italian restaurant. That shit's the bomb. So, there's a couple of seconds in, so let's go speed this up real quick.
Alrighty.
Chicken bombs. There was a Marvel fucking themed restaurant back in the 90s that kind of just went out. And that's all I gotta mention. Goodbye.